3 sets for complexity, utility for the rest. But it is complexity on their T side. We'll see what they've got to offer as Nordavind. They'll need a solid start here to face the monster that we know complexity can be.
And well, HS already in jungle, a little bit locked out. Config quick to connect as NATO is caught under Palace. That's going to be a problem. They left him all alone. Nordavind a little bit of a weak defense early on as Config picks it off. It's Croman to reply finally. His shadows being peeked around the corner. Of course, Config takes the fight easily with the Glock. Close range, it's simple as that. Blame F. Of course, the flank succeeds. HS though. HS, he finds himself a few. It's not enough yet. Oboe. The reply is strong though still. HS cannot finish it and Oboe saves the day almost. I mean, it was Blame F and CT that could have held the line. But that's cutting it close with Oboe standing as well, as open as he was. Still though. 1-0. Complexity take it.
Start T side already off the mark. Nordavind, as to be most likely expected, have gone for the force by themselves. The Eagles to be picked up here on the CT side. Single MP9 for HS as well. There is complexity on the other side. Straight into their full buy, of course. We shall see. Config already able to open up on to Tensky. Short player dead, so mid defenses have been weakened. We know what they are like. A Mirage, incredibly important to have a good mid hold on that CT side. Blame F again, just trying to exploit that. See if he can move into connector, whereas Nordavind themselves, they've gone for a little bit more of a determined stack. They'll rotate everybody over toward this B bomb site, and it might just seem like the right decision to make here, as Config will apply the pressure up through short. Oboe, great headshot onto Harry to open up the site, and as soon as Config rounds this corner, sure, he spots nobody, but it's info gathered. NATO able to close out one. The lineup good enough for Poison, though, leaving Croman isolated. 3 for the man himself. An easy round for complexity at the end of things, and Nordavind down to an eco.
Well, it's going to be simple as that, almost. Indeed, in the replay, we'll see that Poison's quick double secured a guaranteed round afterwards, and I mean, it's as simple as that. When you execute a site, when you have the superior weapons, and if you do it right, timing-wise, there's almost an unstoppable force coming your way when you're the CT. And again, we see this eco, as you said, it's really mid-push, and they will find quite a little bit of success. This is a great start. Poison, though, the spray down. Poison. I mean, it's an eco, sure, if somebody wants to dismiss that, but then again, it's not as easy to keep it as clear as he did, and saved the round almost single-handedly here, because imagine if he dies, even getting a single frag, all of a sudden that becomes a potential 3v2 or a 4v2 almost, with Nordavind having 3 rifles to work with. That becomes a huge problem for complexity. 3-0 though, and well, the first gun round is here. NATO on the op, as you said, he's going to be taking that role now.
Yeah, it seems like they have reverted back potentially, unless it was just NATO having a bit of an off day. It was HS previously. Theories prior that was sort of handling the responsibility of the sniper, but
could be map based.
Yeah, it definitely could. Which is hopefully what I think it is. We know how great of an AWP that NATO is. At least comparable to HS, who we haven't particularly seen picking up the AWP in a while. He did do that back in Gamer Legion of old, let's say, but we haven't seen him do in a while. Croman, great top mid push as well, does get the opening kill. The second from NATO on that AWP. Poison at least able to trade things back as Rush caught on balcony. The timing, yes, perfect for NATO. Down to a 4-on-2, should be Nordavind. And what's sealing the deal already here. Blame F inside of the apartments, trying to catch Harry off guard. Does do incredible damage. 4-on-2, shit over the top, might finish the job, and definitely will. Leaving Poison isolated though. Nordavind, 3 players left alive, should be the first on the CT side.
That is to be expected. Poison without his trusty op, he's not as dangerous. And HS, of course, quick work to be made. As predicted. Nordavind, though, economy based, they are a little bit struggling. They don't really have a lot to hold on to. Of course, drops already coming out. That's going to deplete the majority of their inventory, leaving them perhaps a little bit vulnerable to a potential loss here. That could quickly cascade into a 5-1, you know, or more. Complexity, they are known to take quick charge once they're given a chance, and HS blinded, or at least smoked out. Now this is a classical show of power for Complexity. They're taking mid control by force. They're leaving it a little bit, we could say, underhanded, as only 2 players are there to take it effectively, which leaves them perhaps again vulnerable to a certain counter-attack. But seems like Nordavind will be taking a bit of a defensive posture, and I like this way of playing for Nordavind. They will give themselves a lot of mobility to move around the map if in case they hear any more information.
Very nice and loose style from Nordavind. Leave Complexity at least a little open as well with the short come. They've got the defenses necessary for this. Harry on that corner that we know is very rarely checked. Only gets away with one though. Blame good response, but Tensky again, the cleanup perfect. As Blame F isolated 1-on-3 as he does find the trade onto HS, but not that it will make an overall impact at this point. 32 health. Nordavind, great hold on that B-bomb site.
Really is more on Tensky than anything else, that how he is able to line up the shot, as simple as that. You know, as soon as the second player falls in his crosshairs, that's pretty much his job done, allowing the rest of the rotations to be there in time by the last man entering. Blame F, good reaction. Unfortunate though, as I've said, rotation is already prepared through short Croman. Simple as that. And right here, the first, he hides behind a wall, peeks out, course towards short, is immediately able to respond. And the thing is, the call out was made that somebody speaking from the edge of course, car towards forest. And when you're in that position, when you come through short, you're always afraid of the fact that he might go wide on the left side to try and challenge you further. But in that case, it was just a bit of a stroke of luck there that he took such a quick peek behind the other corner. And well, Complexity having to now play a bit of an eco themselves. The Eagle's out. There's the one, actually.
Should be Nordavind getting quite the easy round here. They just blame that Deagle. Might become a bit more of a nuisance, but and I'm liking the fact that Complexity at least will be grouping up. Head down toward this A-bomb site. They've got a flashbang over the top. Poison and a pincer in through mid will get caught out so far.
Oh, collateral.
Oh, that's what you love to see. Beautiful Kobe over the top as well. His damage has been incredible as they close the round. That's a beautiful little eco. Nordavind keeping it clean as expected. Nice and classy. 3-3 scores tied very early.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a treat for the eyes. NATO showing his innate skill to time the shots to make them count twice over. Quite nice to see indeed. And well, 3-3 tied together, as you said. We have Complexity back on a full buy. Poison yet to have an op in his hands. That could be detrimental, given that NATO is seemingly warming up. And like we both said, and kind of had a bit of a brotherly build. Nordavind are not to be underestimated. Oboe, though, well, he seems to be ready for it. Poison the op in his hands as he picks it up from the dead hands of NATO. And, well, HS burns that one down to the ground. Unfortunate enough that Complexity still have themselves an advantage. Nordavind in trouble. And their economical troubles have been sustained, or will be sustaining potentially one more round for them. Yet, this is a vital retake.
Rush, good hold onto Harry. Config on the back of the bomb site, protecting Croman. Yeah, forced to retreat, unfortunately. Nordavind will be getting themselves a save, of course. 2 weapons carried over, but Complexity solid round. They needed that one as well on the back of a forced investment or a full buy. When he was lacking, T-side would be broken, so it is more of a stabilizing period than not for Complexity here. But as time does tick, keep every player alive, try and hunt down for final weapons or so from that CT side, but at least for Nordavind, it's not going to have too much of a detrimental effect. They'll be able to get the rebuy coming up here. Complexity will again be in the lead for now, but with the rebuy for Nordavind, they'll get the AWP back on to NATO, of course. Plenty of utility. Single defuse kit, sure, but it is
Oh,
enough.
one
Even an
M4 too many.
M4 left at spawn. Yeah,
Oh.
someone's overbought a little bit there. Definitely not good there. But
Bit of a rookie mistake, that. Unfortunately, that does cost them a little bit of a hefty amount of cash, if one could say. But maybe they can manage it and connect your Tensky. Hindsight, not 2020, and it's going to be Tensky that gets himself caught. The scope prevents his vision. It's blurred out. Of course, he cannot clearly see. Well, he will pay the price. Kromen, though, the reply is imminent. At least the push into pit worked out. All of a sudden, Complexity have a mole amongst their midst, and they'll need to root out Kromen if they wish to succeed on a take. They certainly will right now. Good night, Kromen. It's nice knowing you. Oh, never mind. Replying immediately. Oboe, a little bit of a wiggle shot. And Kromen still lurking from the depths like a shark. At this point, he should be considered a dangerous species, and fortunately, I might have jinxed him. Sorry there.
just get caught out. Ooh, NATO just didn't catch the timing. Spotted, I believe, the player on Tetris, but aware of potentially where they could have crossed at the moment. There is a flank coming through, though. This could be vital from Harry. Bomb does go down. They will start to pincer in through CT in this ramp position. Poison gets the read, but can't react. Config, good return. Oh, the same rush, though. Oof, comes out of Palace. Whiff shot from NATO. Results in the death of both of them. 5 and 3. Complexity. Great little hold in the afterplan.
I gotta be honest, I didn't expect Rush to be that aggressive, at least not immediately, but he played it out like a champ, and Roman, his attempt was... I mean, this second shot right here, this is what really counts, because he potentially saves the entire round, and of course he already sets it up for victory. But Rush comes in with the 1v2 and clutches it back, Complexity taking it still in their advantage, and the Nordavind, the pay is quite great. That lost M4 from the last round would have really come in handy here, and well, we can see the reply, although Kromen, not enough. We're back to the regular old program. Seems like Complexity is going to be wrapping up quickly.
Nordavind might be in a bit of a CT struggle here. We know how deadly the economy can be for this CT side, and they seem to be stuck in a bit of a rut right now as Rush will read the push of NATO brilliantly. Harry is that last man, a fairly clean round for Complexity. They'll extend their run on this T side off to quite the convincing start at the moment. If we do sort of reference again, it was 16-5 on Mirage the last time that these two teams faced off against each other. Fairly simple and fairly clean, concise victory for Complexity. They'll be looking to replicate the same. Nordavind back to a full eco. Unfortunately, the economy just not as depthy enough to be able to provide the full extent of a purchase. They will get that in the next round, of course, but this time a nade stack.
Oh, I love it.
Do love to see one of these. There we go. Blame F taking the full brunt of that. Fortunately, though, for Complexity, just him that takes the loss. They'll realize now that the site is clear, take it over. Should be a clean round from here on out, but a nice little idea at the start.
Yeah, that's what you love to see. I mean, now an AK can be at least utilized to potentially go for more exit frags, allow more rifles to be saved, or otherwise just be a nuisance to deal with as Nordavind, pesky little buggers that they are in that round with the nades. It's a nice little strategy that we do not get to see too often, but when it comes, it's always enjoyable. Oboe. Okay. Oboe. Hello. That is gonna hurt in the morning, boys. That's some pristine shooting there, and that's exactly what you would expect, Oboe. That is how you deal with an intrusion, and that is, yeah, just thumbs up. I love it.
Beautiful little deal, yeah. They out with a nice 7 and 3 lead as well. This is T side from Complexity, really starting to show its true colors now. You need to see a Nordavind CT side turn up if they want to stop the damage of Complexity here in this first map. They really need to kill it in the first half. Smokes down on the A side, pretty standard execution. Burning NATO out of position, misses the first shot as well. Oboe taking him out. Good slam as well as he tags.
Oboe!
Okay, picks up through the smoke. Tensky dead as well. 4-on-3 as that bomb goes down, and Nordavind once again in trouble. Oh, still going. Finally, someone shuts him off. Back to a 3-on-2, though.
I mean, he single-handedly opened up the site, secured the hat trick, secured CT, although they might not know it, but that is gonna be enough. Config, of course, from Ninja. He's holding the line perfectly simple and clear, and second as well. Holy oboe, that was something else entirely. That is scary when he's having that aim, when he's having that feeling, and he's pulling in. Whew, that's a scary oboe right there. That second shot, if I saw correctly, was through the smoke, yeah, into jungle somewhere connector, right? As soon as the players that were actually crossing from jungle to stairway connector, somebody must have gotten caught. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it fully, but again, Nate striked through middle, Harre gets himself one. The reply, though, is imminent as Poison's able to connect digitally.
Always nice to at least get a kill off with those nades. Make them somewhat worth it in the investment, of course. Let's say the eco round being pretty easily managed. HS, great response at least. 2 players dead. Full eco is always very nice. Tensky, though, down into the 1-on-3. Should be easily dealt with in a matter of moments. We'll try and maybe retrieve one of the weapons out of top mid, but Poison holding that down as easily as we'd like to see. 9-3. Complexity off to a run so far. Very, very quick steamroll. Again, as they'll go for that rebuy, NATO reinvesting into the AWP. Surprising that we haven't seen double up sort of linked up with HS if that was something that they'd be looking to do. They did have the economy for it, but deciding against that this time, of course. But if Nordavind lose this one, we're going to be seeing a very drastic first half. They essentially need to get all 3 at the end of this one just to look somewhat convincing heading into the second side. But here goes Complexity straight out of Palace. A faster play. Chroman this time able to deal with at least the first, but Poison, good for the return. Poison gets away with 2. Might have even been partially blind through the second one. Bomb is stranded at Tetris at least, so there is a chance though as Chroman. Perfect. Back to a 3-on-2.
Holds the line as he should, as he needs to. Config needs to survive right now, buying time for the rotation to come over. Oh, the spot! It's BlameF from Connector that sees him, and the push into sight will allow Config to see even further. Tensky trying to channel his inner ninja, his inner Stewie, trying to get through the edge of the smoke, but that's not gonna work. Harre replies imminently at least. It's back to a 1-on-1. And it's going to be BlameF and Harre, the IGL of Complexity. Can he hold the line? Well, certainly he can, and he knows how to. The line is not going to be enough, though, as Harre keeps on searching and, in the end, finds his target. 4-9, as you said, all 3 will be required. That's 1. Let's see if they can take the last 2 and secure themselves a respectable ending for what was the first half.
Make it look at least a little better. Yeah, they do need to ride out of this one, like we sort of preface with both of them, really, to close out this first half. 9-6 would be, somewhat manageable for Nordavind, although getting 5 rounds in their previous encounter is definitely essentially an issue. Harry does get naded down to low as well, chooses to swap out the AK with Tensky. The right decision to make, of course, put the higher health players on the better weapons. But so far, so good for Complexity. This is, thankfully, a much more convincing performance than what we saw against Honoris. We'd have had similar performance where they took an incredibly dominant first half. I'd be very concerned.
If we take a closer look at those best-of-1 series, both were Mirage for Nordavind and Complexity, and 16-6 with a 5-10 first half against Complexity, and then losing the second half 1-6, aka basically getting 1 round, and that was it. You are in a little bit of a puddle yourself, but let's see if perhaps this can be changed. Nordavind holding the line only for 1 though. Harre replies with the MP9. That's good as it gets. Still a 3-on-2. HS tries to be sneaky. Immediately denied as Oboe again. This guy, he's on fire right now. I think he's at about what, 15, 16 frags, something like that. NATO, quick to reply. Still a 1-on-2 though, and he needs to go here. He cannot save and hope for a better tomorrow. There's no better tomorrow if he gets them to double digits already.
double digits, especially in a
Oh,
T
he
side,
blocks
is
himself out.
difficult. So yeah, just caught off of the back of window there, and Obo does get the job done. Double digits are secured for Complexity. Buy is not going to be great for the end of the first half either on this side of Nordavind. The HS, the majority of the side, down to even MP9s, unfortunately. That's the sort of impact that Complexity have done. 10 rounds minimum is always a deadly asset. 11 would be perfect. Seems like Complexity, much like their previous encounter with Nordavind, are back to pretty much stomping the game so far. Rush grade entry. Poison spots the foot just barely of Chroman on the corner, so it's at least information gathered, but so far so good. Convincing as ever from Complexity.
Seems to be squeaky clean. A bit of a drop down there, and one of the last few rounds, of course, losing to the fourth round of Nordavind. Oh, that's a bit of a ding, but the double peek it is denied immediately as config. It's simple and easy for him to spray down both. He is low HP, sure, but he's done his duty, his job, and well, down to HS it goes. The lineup, if he had only known. Well, he's going to be coming in behind, but Obo prepared and finishes the half at 17-7. We have Poison at 14-7 and 7-7 for Rush. Seems like Complexity's lucky number 11. Well, that is going to be a little bit of an exciting ending for them, whilst for Nordavind, cause for concern perhaps. I guess we can say so, especially since they chose the map.
For sure, yeah. This is... It's a little bit rough. I mean, yeah, Obo, 128 ADR, 2.42 KD. The man is, he's having a field day so far. Definitely a very dominant performance out of Complexity in the CT pistol round. Well, it's going to be vital for Nordavind. If they don't win this Complexity, they'll be on their way up to 14-4, providing the eco rounds go as expected. So this first map could be over within a flash, really. So we'll see what Nordavind have on the cards for us. A bit of a fake sold down toward this B bomb site. Only 2 players were spotted, and with Obo now not sort of anticipating any further rush, they surely guarantee a little bit more of a fake than to be expected. They'll pull back from the T side as well. Nordavind going to hit that rotate down toward the A site. It's all about how quickly Complexity read into this now. If they work it out in the next 5 to 10 seconds or so and draft that second player back from the B bomb site, well, now those smokes are down. This is almost guaranteed. Should begin to call in the rotations. That's going to be exactly the case. All 3 pulling out of the B bomb site.
Go, we're getting to...
Yeah, this is very, very slow.
Like, Complexity... This is the timing they need to hit with the rotations, and they started, but they stopped. They seem to be thinking it's a fake. Nordavind trying to sell this. Weirdly enough, it's working. As Complexity, they don't reply in kind at all. They're so late. Both teams taking their sweet time, and seems like in this case Nordavind gets the better end of the deal, especially with how deeply rooted they are currently in this jungle position. This is going to be an extremely hard retake. 4 players from CT. It's going to be Blame F through Murder Hole to try and single out any flankers or something. But look at this. How do you retake this when you're coming in from a single angle? Let's find out soon enough. HS Hare, Chroman, this is it. It's clean. It's all headshots. What Beautiful. You love to see. I mean, I don't know what Complexity really thought, though. At that point, you know, that's 3 smokes. That's, what, a Molotov? No, not a Molotov, excuse me. Rather, flashbangs additionally. You know, you should be aware that this is most likely a full commitment, especially if you hear no information towards B. You better at least rotate 1 further there, and, well, the gamble didn't pay off. 11-5, second pistol to Nordavind.
In the game, at least, yeah. Complexity, as they've gone for a force buy of their own at this point, will be lightly facing maybe 11-7, providing that Nordavind do not mess up this eco round or a force buy from Complexity. Now taking the precautions, thankfully, Harry. Yeah, good pre-fire of the angle as well. Always worth the check just to ensure the angle is clear. Poison. Rest of the side getting ready for the cross of this T side. They do have flashbangs left. A single smoke on HS for the corner as well if they do want to deploy it. Still, Complexity themselves reading into this a little bit wrong now as they realize it could potentially be an A-sided fake config. Beautiful headshot. Oh, spam as well onto Roman for the damage. Drops him down low. Nade might inflict. Doesn't do enough, but definitely tags on. 4 on 3 for the afterplant, though. And it seems like Complexity's still a little bit cautious as to where this bomb has gone down. They realize it's A, but more pulling back for the save, it seems. So Nordavind getting a pretty free round out of this one. 6 on the board.
Yeah, I respect the choice that Complexity keeps the scouts alive, although they're about... Oh, never mind. I thought they wanted to go towards top middle. But still, Kromen, I might have heard that in B-apps. He certainly seemed to have had. As I said, though, Complexity... Imagine if Rush doesn't get fragged through a smoke and he's a little bit more careful with his, perhaps, positioning initially. This could have turned out entirely different. Config, he opened up the doors to potential retake, but Complexity, of course, without utility and other weaponry, you're kind of limited how far you can go. 6, as Nordavind is making sure that this round, or at least this second half, does not get completely botched. I should say that they played a much better CT side against Budapest 5, Nordavind that is. They had a stronger showing as their CT, so perhaps there is cause for concern if they seem to be times waving off a little bit.
Yeah, seeing Complexity take a little bit of a downward spiral in the second half would give Nordavind way back into the game, of course. We know that Complexity are definitely beatable, especially on Mirage. A lot of their games going 16, 12, 13 plus in terms of previous best of ones they've played in past weeks. Just overall, their game's not being as secure as maybe of this level would expect. Although with Nordavind again putting pressure onto mid, Kromen, there we go. Lines up 2, gets away with them. There's no damage whatsoever either. HS will be able to close out Rush. A fairly simple round for Nordavind themselves. 11 and 7 on the way of as expected. Complexity heading into their first buy round. Config will get away with a kill of his own, maybe even a weapon to scramble as well. But unfortunately not. BlameF does get the refrag, but as that bomb is already down. 11 and 7 for Nordavind, at least making this barrier a lot closer before the first gun round, and especially with Complexity being on the CT side. All it takes essentially is a gun round denial from Nordavind, and they're straight back into double digits, and this game is so much more competitive again.
Very much so. BlameF, oh, he's about to walk into a mousetrap. Okay, he seems to be ready for the first at least, so damage dealt, that's good. Keep them down low, and they'll be keeping their heads down as well. 7 to 11 as Complexity will go into a investment. Poison glass cannon. I'm not particularly, of course, happy to see that, and neither is he, of course. It's a tough position to be in when you're left with only the op. Any single shot could immediately be your end, and a bit of a different play this time. Mid control gonna be showed by Complexity. I like it. Bit more aggressive, gives you perhaps more options. NATO Sapphics, though, he's about to be isolated into a challenge. I think he has spotted the first, though, on site. That's Rush on A site itself. The nade. Oh, there we go. That's what I was hoping to see. Poison finally gets himself on, but NATO keeps on going. Rush is on through stairs, gonna be overstepping his boundaries, though, as we like to say. And in this case, it's back to 3-on-2. Complexity not out of it yet, though. They don't seem to have an idea that this is going to actually be an A hit behind all of it. They've already lost CT, yeah. This is a problem.
Problem Tensky, though.
Okay.
Overextends the mark a little bit. Obo very easily able to take him out. They'll realize now that it is the A-bomb site. Everything confirmed by BlameF on his way through.
Yeah.
Will come in as HS will be taking up a little bit more of an interesting position. This one could definitely work as well here as HS. If he hears them inside of mid Obo, this could be perfect.
There should be some predicament to this. Never mind, Obo going to be ignoring jungle, and, well, that's going to cause him to be a bit more reckless. Pushing on forward as HS holding the line, and Nordavind pick up a very crucial round for themselves on top of an HS clutch. It is beautiful to see how he outwits his opponents. On a default behind box plant, you would never have thought the jungle might actually be occupied. But there's also a rule of thumb usually you want to go by in CS. Always retake together. And in this case, you know, unfortunate enough that Complexity didn't stick to that. 11-8 as match is going to be paused. A technical pause, I presume. Hopefully not too many issues on the side of the players. Nordavind called for it.
Yeah, hopefully nothing's majorly wrong there. Oh, Config had a little bit of a disconnect, even though it was Nordavind that called the tech pause. Maybe they were doing it to be nice, guys. Thanks, Nordavind. Good stuff. But it seems like all is good. Config returning the server. Nordavind, great previous round. 11-8 now as that scoreline starts to get a lot closer. You can see the cash Complexity not as stacked as they'd like it to be. They'll be down to just the eco. Can invest into pistols. They've got the money available to do that, but
quite limited.
Very, very limited, yeah. BlameF even takes a little bit more of a calculated risk, buys into the MP9. Single kill would put him back over the threshold for purchase in the next round. They've got 4 round loss bonus as well, so they'll be set at least for the rifles. But it does bring Nordavind right up to scratch, just a single round away from double digits, and with how much pressure that Complexity were put on by Honoris in that previous game, there's always a chance. You know, even from like an 11-4, 10-5 lead, that Complexity can slip under the mark and fluff the game up. We've seen that countless number of times, especially on Mirage, scarily.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to call it too early, but certainly everybody has it on their mind. Poison, though. He's able to keep the numbers together. Has Rush. CZ in hand. Very dangerous to do that, but when the CZ connects, oh boy, it feels good. This time, secondary will be denied. Stensky's already out and about. He's searching for the challenge on towards Stairway, and that's an op, I think, was dropped, and indeed it was. Poison gonna be hunting it, of course, his favorite weapon for the day, and with that established, this does bring out a bit of a unique problem for Nordavind. Luckily enough, they are not gonna have to face off Complexity on towards B, as the rotation's been made fully over, and that's a simple 9-11 going for Nordavind. Or at least should be. I'm not going to say too soon yet. Poison on the op. We know how big of a change he can make when he's playing his mark. And right now he's on a hunt.
Single kill would change the outcome of this round here and force Nordavind to be a little bit more pressured in this retake. There's still plenty of time. They don't have a kit. They've got time on their hands, and with Obo hitting shots like that, can't take anything away from him. There's the second one. Stensky isolated, has to go for the peek on the defuse, but with the corner already locked and loaded, Complexity, they get the defuse. Obo doing it all himself to enter that bomb site.
I gotta give it to Obo here. Yeah, I mean, that is just... I did not expect it to go that easily. Surely, maybe even relied more on Poison entering for the first and then seeing the Deagles how it works out. But that is something else entirely. Nordavind, bit of a hiccup, and as much money as they might have had, they're back to square one. And 3 AKs, a Mech 10, a Deagle. It's a B rush by the looks of it. Could be underground in towards Connector, but usually when you put 5 players into B house, that's a B take. For the most part, it should be. Smoke's being lined up. Here comes the execution. They're going to try this. I like it. This is balls of steel to the wall. Let's go. And well, Obo holding the first window. That's easy enough. Or excuse me, the second as he lines up Chrome and Config burning in the blindness. And Obo, of course, he holds that. That's the bomb. Arre, Config. It works like a charm. And the flank has already been set. That's it. Nordavind, they'll have to concede. That's 13-8, and most likely going onto the 14th easily as an eco has to be played.
A big overstep from Nordavind, especially from Harry there, to get the bomb lost in such a dramatic way. Obo, he's on an absolute tear at the moment. A 3K in the round himself, pushing through smokes. The confidence with this man for sure, and well, you can see what damage it does to Nordavind. They've got no money left, and for certain this should be 14. Again, it's another pressured play down toward the B site. Underpass to be taken as well. Maybe trying to sell a a bit of a fake out toward that B site to draft the players in, but this should not make any difference whatsoever. It's a full eco. Complexity. Just when we thought Nordavind had been handed a little bit of a lifeline, it's the actions of themselves that really give Complexity the ticket back into this second half now.
Most absolutely, and well, what do you do, Nordavind, is the better question. I'm not gonna say this is not a unwinnable round exactly, but Complexity is leaving themselves awfully vulnerable. Usually when there's no contact on middle, you usually want to take the sides back in your hands, and that means putting more effort into the defense. And right now, the B rush could succeed if they get rid of Obo, but when do you get rid of Obo? How do you get rid of Obo? You cannot from Forest. Of course, it's an eco, but still the hat trick, and he's at 27 in 22 rounds. I think that for itself speaks volumes, and like I said, the dangerous Complexity putting themselves into this one-man B defense with 3 holding mid. That late into the round, usually want to pull off, but when you have Obo, I guess trust is a factor, and well, I trust Obo, so should they. Complexity 14-8, and the last round potentially for Nordavind with a bye.
If they lose this one, it's a hell of a lot more difficult. Poison. Great first entry. Oh, second from him as well. Make it 3 from Poison. We've spoke about this man previously disappearing on these matches, but oh boy, is he here today. Already picking up the majority of the frags. Config in there for one of his own as well. And look at the side of Nordavind. Just split across the map. No structure at all. Complexity. You give them 1v1s, and with the players they've got and the form that they've got right now, there's a 90% chance they're hitting all of them. Beautiful 3-piece. Complexity on to round 15.
I would like to point out, Nordavind, they had full utility on 3 players that were entering middle. One of them wasted. One of them used it to block off short and such and flash. But the rest, no throws into Molotov or into window, no smoke, no molly. Where was that? That should have been thrown. That should have been done. And I understand they tried to go for the quick connector play, but you always have to be expecting somebody to be in window, at least early on. And well, another B take. This is it. 15-8. Ladies and gents, let's see if it works. Obo holding the line again. Through the smoke, do we go? Yes, we do. Config doesn't care. He's replying in kind, and HS will find himself the return. Though, Obo, hold the line. No. Tensky finally finding success.
With the players that they've got left in this one, AK now into the hands of Tensky. Not on the best of health, but look at Poison. Oh, there he is. Gets away with one and even pulls back. Doesn't have to overextend here. He knows he's got Rush already in that corner as they do the damage. Look at the health of these players.
That's it.
It's a simple shutdown. Rush finding 2. Complexity. A very clean sweep here on Mirage. 16-8. And just like we saw previously from Nordavind, they're out of the server already. Game's not even done. They're gone.
What can I say? Besides, you know, Nordavind, they tried. They played a good game against Budapest 5. They lost that on Mirage as well. I just hope that Nuke will be going better for them, and hopefully we'll see a better show of hand. But in any case, 16-8 as Complexity take it. Map 1 is gone, and on top of that, we'll go to a short break and be back with our second one of Nuke.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Map number 2 getting right underway. Of course, it is on Nuke. It is the map pick of Complexity after they took away Mirage. Quite the convincing 16-8 fashion. Nordavind now on the back foot here in this series. They again will win the knife round, so it gives them that easier start here on this second map. But they've lost their own map pick already. It's down to Complexity to see if they can get this series finished in 2.
Indeed it is. I mean, the display of Nordavind was not the weakest in terms of how they performed in rounds and such. It was more about just the fact that they got outplayed and outmaneuvered, and 4 rounds for each half is not gonna cut it. And as we can see, it might not cut it whatsoever, even on Nuke. We'll find out if perhaps Nordavind can make any better than what they had on Mirage. Starting as the CTs, NATO Safik's gonna have himself the kit and the nade, of course. Complexity, on the other hand, 2 smokes. I'm eager to see what they will play with them here. Seems like outside control to begin with.
Yeah, a bit of a, not a fake, definitely a bit more of a pincer angle to come. Croman does get away with the first kill. HS himself able to chime in on Blame F as well. Will divert the Complexity setup here in this pistol. HS, though, to be incredibly careful. The timing It could not have been worse. Rush. Oh. Oh,
Wow.
Nobody spots each other. This is perfect.
This really is a game of
On
chess.
the corner. No, this. Oh, no.
Oh
No,
boy, Rush.
Surely.
Yeah, there we go.
That's such unfortunate timing.
That's a wrap, and there's 2 players down B already. Seems like Complexity will be still going into B, and Nordavind, they think they were duped. They think they were played for a fools by going B instead. It's NATO, only one left, dropping down Hade immediately behind him. HS, they're going to be replying, but they've lost a lot of positioning, though Hade still finds 2. That should be enough. Poison, a 1-on-3, make it a 1-on-2. No such luck to close it out with success, though. Nordavind, they secured themselves a vital pistol, if one could say. And if anything else, they got duped, but they make it out alive. That is valiant to mention at the very least.
Thankfully, pistol not going to be as detrimental as we might have thought. Nordavind, sure, getting a little bit unlucky there, but nice dispatch from Harry as well to close out the job. Complexity, though, into the buy round as to be expected. 3 AKs purchased. 3 players on Kevlar going to be wielding those. Blame F straight toward the doors, opening it up early. Nobody spotted either. Ramp and outside, that is more of a focus. They've got Tensky on the hut. Or when he is needed, when he is necessary. Just take... Obo just back at it again. Tensky just spammed through the opening wall section of the hut that is spammable. HS taking tags from outside as well. Oversteps his mark. It's only a deagle, but drops him down. The low HP. The bomb from Rush, though, sacrificed on ramp as NATO gets away with 1. Config finally shuts him down. Poison trades on the A side and somehow back to a 3-on-2. And look at the final positions of these 2. Oh, Blame F in the corner. There's the first. Spots the second. Escapes as well. Doesn't need to even take the fight. Croman isolated in the 1-on-3.
Well, he can certainly attempt this, and I'm fairly certain he will. He knows Blame F is low. He knows Config was tagged beforehand. And it's a doable 1-on-3, in fact. Although no kit means he's very much limited for the time he has it available. And look at how Blame F defensively pushed himself into T-base entirely back into the yellow yellow container position or dump track. And that is going to be a little bit of a disaster for Nordavind, one could say. The 3 AKs buy works out like a charm. Obo with the pre-fire on Tensky. A classical spot you usually see being challenged and wallbanged. It is just unfortunate that this time it actually succeeds for Complexity against Nordavind. But let's see if perhaps the pistols can reply in kind. Deagles and CZs. Nordavind will be playing a standard, looks like, setup. 2 players did go towards ramp, looking to rotate over towards secret immediately, whilst 3 holding the line from heaven, hut, and default side itself.
Pretty comprehensive setup, though. Nordavind,
yeah, it's...
you know, if there's any one pistol round that could go wrong if Complexity commit through HUD, it is that angle itself. We know that it is incredibly dangerous with Harry looking down from heaven. At least got the viewpoint. Croman, though. Oh, there's the first onto Rush. Thankfully, Obo is quick for the trade, although peek from Harry.
Oi.
Dealt with by Obo. This man is on fire today so far.
Really is, isn't he? Naito. Fortunately, not going to be able to succeed with Rush's aim. That is going to be HS left. Can save an M4 actually. Wouldn't be too bad of a outtake. Unfortunate though that Obo seems to be hunting still. He's not really shut down his headhunter route mode, or however you want to call it. He's still on the call, and Nordavind 2-1 forming into a 3-1 almost certainly here, unless they make some magic happen with USPSs. It is facing up to be a bit of a haggler's beginning here for the CT side of Nuke.
Great start, yeah. Complexity we saw on the T side half of Mirage. It was quite the run of rounds that they got. The AK at least dealing some decent damage. They'll get away with 2 rifles to play with. Does all depend how Complexity will let them save up, of course. And bomb does go down. You can see they've got a decent bit of bank behind them. If you were Complexity, you do want to be chasing these last 2 rifles just to ensure that when they do buy into the next round, they buy with their own economy rather than a saved up weapon. But it seems like they might just get away with it for now. Nobody from Complexity just wanting to put that pressure on. They themselves don't have a great economy. It's good enough at the moment, but like you say, 3-1 will come through. Nordavind themselves going to be heading down into more of a save scenario, but a great start for Complexity nevertheless. And again on a T side.
Yeah, this does bring out the question, Nordavind. Their close quarters with Budapest 5, causing them to lose 16-13 after a shabby T-side beginning, and afterwards, having 8 rounds to be picked up on their CT. You would imagine them being a little bit more proportionate, a little bit more footfall heavy here. Unfortunate that, again, they're starting to face off trouble early on. It's going to be a full buy round. The up on Nato. He's going to be trying to hold this line from heaven. Of course, supporting the defense of HS through Garage. That's a very conservative position to be in, but it's a good position to work from. Moto Tensky! Triple through the smoke. That is what you love to see, and that is almost immediately the round to Nordavind, I should say, as Complexity are shortened a notch and a half, and this is going to be Config trying to solo plant on B by the looks of it.
Even get away with it as well.
Harsh.
Down ramp. Might just be a little off for him.
Oh,
yeah, there we go. Config not wanting to commit to the plant, wanted to check the angles, does get himself
I love it.
the loss of life. BlameF just hardcore parkour around the back of the map. Like you said, Nordavind. Solid first gun round on the borders. Yeah, the round is now definitely theirs.
I mean, BlameF is as strong as he looks. Taking down 5 is a whole different scenario, and yeah, a little bit of a wonky round for Complexity. I'm not gonna say fully to be blamed on their quick aggression. I mean, it happens, you get sprayed down through a smoke. It happens. It's just surprising that they do not account for something like that happening and be a little bit more careful when they do hit a quick play. When you allow time for your opponent to react and see what's going on, obviously the chances of them being able to retaliate are immediate. And thinking about it even further, you think into how Squeaky is positioned. It's very hard to not miss-hit Squeaky itself, the spray, when somebody's exiting the doors. So, Complexity leaving themselves vulnerable, I should say, perhaps a little bit too much. Though still enough for a rebuy, as, of course, BlameF had been able to save the AWP.
Buy actually coming out of the back of this, plenty ability to play with as well. Banking up the AWP does alleviate a lot of the stress that they've got in this buy round themselves. Playing toward outside so far, just checking silo, no real commitment from Complexity, and that is you like to see at the start of a T-sided round. Now they'll default into the smokes. Enough room for BlameF to work around the outside. Trying to, again, just put that little bit of pressure to that hut position. Smoke goes down to block off Squeaky door. Nobody aggressing. 5 on the clock. Oof, nice little nade. Complexity taking damage. Config down to 60. Spam to come through. Config out the door with the bomb. Tensky taking them all down there as NATO closes one out as well. Is just down to BlameF and Poison. Oh, he's isolated. There we go. Nordavind. Again, another fairly clean round out of them. 4 kept alive. Scores now tied and the money of Complexity gone.
Indeed, it is gone. Well, how quickly the tables turn, don't they? Nordavind, they seemingly needed a gentle push in the right direction. They rise like a phoenix. As Complexity will attempt another push, quick push this time through Squeaky down B. There will be a reply imminently by Kromen already, so this chance of succeeding is not as high, and already BlameF realizes that. Low at 5. Config though secures the first. NATO was spotted and needs to be careful. NATO does not want to get himself caught early, although he misses a whiff shot as Rush comes in flying. Second player to fall, Complexity. They're putting up a little bit of a strong fight. Tensky in heaven though, not gonna be ready for the outside take, unfortunate. As Config replies, seems like Complexity have found a way back in on a eco round.
Weirdly enough, Roman he does not get overrun there, although HS just gets out of it alive. 45 on the clock. There's plenty of time, although back to a 2-on-2. F will be the first man in. Out onto this A bomb site. Very open plant, actually. Does not get the bomb down. Poison will hear the players finally retreating up toward the A site to protect the plant or protect the bomb, but not that it should be making much of a difference, although, as we say it, away with the first pistol.
This could work.
The second, Harry. Gotta stay in the corner. Misses
Patience.
The bomb. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no time to plan.
Bait it. Yeah.
Wait. Oh,
no.
Okay, I thought Poison had the corner there, but not this time.
It's a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, Poison taking a sweet, sweet moment to get towards the bomb itself, but in the end, Hara playing it smart, waiting down to the last second, to the last moment. Not challenging, not giving the option even. He was close by, don't get me wrong, it was dangerous, but he played it correctly in the position he was in. Poison, otherwise, he seemed to be prepared for the take there behind the corner, and I was just wondering if he's going to go check it or not, because it would make perfect sense if he'd want to. But again, the gun round here for Nordavind starts off with a bang. HS Densky, the spray down. A lot of damage dealt already as BlameF is out. Complexity that lose quite a little bit of map control alongside it. They do have a player down vents though, so I don't know. Not a bad position to be in, depending how they deal with it now.
This is definitely workable. NATO, be careful. Realizes that maybe he could have slipped down ramp. Good trade by Obo, at least to counter Kromen's kill. Vent being held, but Rush a little bit late to react there. Back down to a 2-on-2. Oh, sorry, 3-on-2 as that bomb is planted. Big. Get isolated there. Obo taken out of this situation. They realize as well that he has to have slipped somewhere close. Reveals his position as well. And there we go. Harry closing the business on that one. 5-3. Complexity will get the bomb plant and the extra money gain, but not enough to front a full purchase. This is a much better round from Nordavind so far. 5-3, most likely 6 to come. CT side looking a lot more stronger, a lot more composed than what we saw in Mirage.
Indeed, they seem to be a little bit more, yeah, composure is a good way to describe it. Definitely seem more calm, you know, more collected, and having that element of Nordavind that we were lacking on Mirage, indeed. But HS will take the high road, get the hell out of Dodge. Wants to make sure it doesn't get himself caught. Timing for Kromen, though, gonna be a little bit extra spicy. Poison, the only one without Kevlar, challenges and takes it. HS replies imminently, though. As Obo in config. Wait a second. Again, Complexity on the verge of potentially taking a well, eco round. Pistols and Kevlar round, effectively. They bought up Kevlar, sure. They bought up Deagle, sure. They still keep a lot of money in the bank, so they're not as concerned. And Tensky and Naito already saving. I am not even surprised there.
Definitely not. They're not going to throw away the weapons, but it's the round that goes completely in the opposite direction. Complexity again, just letting Nordavind know they're still here. Power with the pistols, as we know, can be overwhelming, and certainly being so at the start of this game. That is 2 pistol rounds now that Complexity have been able to swipe away off of the helm, or at least look dangerous in. In the scoreline, relatively close as well. 5-4 as they wrap this one up. Oh, they've got money left for the rebuy in terms of Harry being able to at least drop out a weapon. 2 saved up in the process of things as well. That's not a good position to be in. Not when you have a limited economy to work with on a CT side already. Spending the extra money to recoup the losses of an eco round is always going to break the bank, as we can see. It has done exactly that. Complexity going to be putting the pressure on. Speedy out through hut they go. Harry, the first man caught, second at least for the frags, but NATO whiffing another shot again. 3-on-2 as already that A site has been taken over. They've got the corner held. HS already dead. And Complexity, just that little turn of pace, too much for Nordavind to handle, but and a bit sloppy. NATO missing another point-blank shot, though.
Let's see if perhaps Roman can play a different ball game. Well, maybe we'd have hoped, but unfortunate that's not going to happen. Tied back up, and not going to be a pretty sight for Nordavind. Money is gone. Pistols and Kevlar have to be bought up yet again, and hope, or perhaps a different kind of outcome once they get that buy back up. NATO has been a little bit off key with his op. There's definitely been a few miss and hits overall. Complexity continuously able to punish even on pistol rounds, which does tell a bit of a bigger story. Is a miss. Obo. Very much aggressive, very much hunting for that early kill, but it's Blame F to secure it. Seems like an A take by the looks of it.
Oh, by Complexity. Taking out all of these eco players. Ito does manage to get away with one inside of hut, second as well. A bit more risky now here for the side of Complexity. Poison just holding the line. Missed shot from him. Players now low. Both him and Blame F taking a hit. They will rotate down into Secret. Of course, they're going to attempt this round. One will go down just barely. Config being the only high health player left in this one. And thankfully, they are going to come from the same angle. So maybe chance for Complexity to read this, but definitely an expensive one. That door will be open. First player through. Config deals with both. Well, at least they closed it out. A bit more scrappy than we might have expected, but Complexity, they do secure the lead, 6-5. T-side looking now at least more comprehensive, up to the rounds where we expect the T-side to be. Complexity starting to just maybe strike the helm back in their favor, but a rebuy from Nordavind.
Well, let's see if they can make it. NATO Safix back on the op. Again, he's going to be playing by the looks of it from ramp this time. I actually like the change. Might give them a little bit of an early advantage if anybody from Complexity is feeling particularly frisky. Although they seem to be going for the A site, and it's going to be successful. Hare, Config, and, well, Poison take lead. And unfortunately for Hare, he only gets himself the first. Afterwards, it's more of a disaster than anything else. Obo holding from Xbox. Already a save by Nordavind. They realize they have no entry back to site. Nobody to really come from the flank either, and they'll play it safe. I respect the choice. Again, money is an issue, and they'll have to keep a tight eye, a tight leash on it. Especially if they want to keep NATO on the op, who we all know can be detrimental to the round itself.
I do like that Nordavind are not scared to sort of decide to take a save early. They're not wanting to sacrifice the overall structure of the half just to try and get a retake that will win them one round. Especially in understanding their economy situation as well. So it is nice to see that Nordavind willing to at least let their opponents gain one extra to have a rebuy or to have a slight chance of an investment in the next. Although you can see their economy, it's not even that depthy, to be fair. Roman just under the threshold. Be able to drop out a weapon, so we'll just be throwing out a Deagle to Tensky. It's a bit of a half buy. They've got an MP9 at least. But Complexity, providing that things go right in this one, they'll already be winning the first half. And you always say 8 rounds at a minimum on a T side is a great way to start the half, and Rush even better. Opens things up with a first kill on Zahari. Corner held by Tensky. Away with a nice refrag. Back to a 4-on-4. No weapon retrieve, but at least now he closes out the manpower, at least allows these weapons that they've got to shine through. Config, good return, though. Beautiful nade to deplete the health of Croman. Blame does seem aware of the garage angle as well. No, not this time. Obo thankfully returns the damage across the map, but this is where they could strike. If they pincer at the right time here with NATO.
Oh, config!
Not this time. Beautiful.
Whew. Again, the single player performance is just outshining on all regards. Complexity. They're not even having to do anything complex. They're not even having to do something completely out of the box to defeat Nordavind right now. It's simple, straight up engagements, and they're winning them clear as day. And, well, a technical pause is going to be called. I am not sure what is going on. Yeah, it was Complexity. A little bit of an FPS drop, but seemingly already fixed. So all is well, boys. Don't worry about it. Quick break as we are keen or used to having them. No biggie. No issue. Nordavind, it's time to really shine. Again, CT side, I said it already. They looked much better on Mirage on both series. Let's see if they can at least make this one a bit more respectable, perhaps would be the right word to use here. Although 5 rounds is still pretty low for the CT side at this time.
They can make it 8-7. It looks a lot better, but Complexity so far having at least a solid run of rounds, especially being on this T side. Tensky. He's caught out, but Croman providing the support. Perfect. Nordavind holding that A bomb site very, very valiantly. Blame F will make his run down to B, though. We'll be able to secure the site itself. Complexity do hate going for those early plants, and you can definitely understand why. Maybe wants to give Config a bit more time to get down onto the B-bomb site, but as he does get caught on the back of the vents, fortunately it is just going to leave Blame isolated. Move up toward ramp though. NATO spotting the info, gets away with one, but is safe for now. 38 seconds on the clock, and all of Nordavind rotating in should not be getting out of this one with a bomb plant. On already being held. Tensky does lose his life, but Blame not expecting Harry, of course. We'll close it out. 6 on the board, making the first half at least a little bit more secure. Final round will be necessary to keep Nordavind afloat. 9-6 or an 8-7, either way. Great half for Complexity. It's about Nordavind just making sure that it can go as close as possible, really. Obo, Mac 10 in hand. This seems like a faster play. They're going to be putting the speed into this round, it seems. Yeah, straight through Hoodie goes. Okay, let's see what they do. Obo straight through. Early entry. This is what we like to see.
Well, Croman finds himself a double, but Obo still replying imminently. And yeah, indeed, we like to love to see this. As Natos affix, though, immediate return. 2-on-2 that might go away, or excuse me, 1-on-2 that might still go the way for Nordavind. They desperately would want to pick it up, though. Let's be honest here. They desperately need to get the round here, and they should be aware at this point, Complexity, that NATO probably rears off the angle here. Goes in towards lobby hut. Yeah, the smoke on towards hut already. Kind of confirms that theory. And, well, the answer now is he coming out of doors or is he coming out of hut? Well, the answer will be found out soon. NATO, he's got a flash and a Molotov. He's got a minute on the clock. He hears the plant, so his decision now has to be made. Does he go here or, well, hut? Well, he misses the first, so it doesn't really matter. 9-6, Complexity secure the first half. Again, dominant, but it is better from Nordavind. They are seemingly finding their way home somewhat. And as you can see, kill-wise as well, mostly Oboe and Config, if I could see correctly there, that are lining up the majority of the frags. And, excuse me, Blame F, yeah. And, well, then even mostly Config.
17 on Config, having, again, a very, very good half. It was Oboe that turned up on map number 1. Well, Oboe and the majority of Complexity, but Config at least leading the charge for this one. Complexity now on to their second half, of course. Pistol round to come. We'll be buying into the defuse kit onto Config. Utility for Oboe as well. Whoa, Flame F though. Edge of squeaky door lands onto Chrome and gives them a very, very depleted advantage even to start the pistol round. A very quick 5-on-4. HS will be able to pincer inside of main. They've got the defenses aligned on this A bomb site, as that plant will look to go down pretty much unchallenged out of Complexity, but you can see what they're trying to do. They'll play passive, force the peaks out of Nordavind, and of course HS overextends. Now a 5-on-3 becomes a whole lot easier. They've still got a nade to play with. Doesn't do any damage, but the pistols, it's clean out of Complexity. They'll give the plant up because they know they can get the retake as easy as that.
Well, what can I say? That was a lot simpler than I initially imagined. Complexity making it look a little bit too easy, so I'd say go easy on the boys, but that was dirty dancing there. Blame F. I don't know. Guess that works. 10-6. Complexity. They'll continue on with their stampede. First half was theirs to begin with, and second half begins to be there as Blame F and Poison keeping eyes out, keeping control, pest control if one could even say. 11-6, we have ourselves a very problematic build-up of rounds for Nordavind. I am not sure what they'll be able to do if they lose more than, well, if they lose this gun round here. They're in dire trouble afterwards, really dire. Looking at a potential 13-14 for Complexity without doubt.
One incredibly vital for Nordavind, not even for the game itself. I mean, Complexity are not that close closing it out just yet, but it gets a whole lot more dangerous. HS through the Molotov, though. Great decision to make as he lands early one on to Poison. That B bomb site now put under pressure. Croman finds a second. Much better this time. Nordavind already able to close out 2 of the kills. The Molotov at least doing extra damage as well. There it is. Fairly clean, fairly nice. Blame F gets away with a refrag, but that should be all they are really coming out with here. Config good return. Back to a 3-on-2. I doubt that Complexity, they're not going to go for this. Save up the couple of rifles that they've got. Give Nordavind 11-7. First gun round fairly successful. Rebuy should be on its way for Complexity, but it at least gives Nordavind that kicker off the market on this T side to start.
It's a beginning. That's the point, right? That's what they need. At least something to mark it off, I guess. 7-11. We're kind of looking at results that we already had in map 1. They were able to snuff the flame at 8, but let's see if Complexity will have the same amount of energy for overall speed to conclude it this quickly. Let's see if this actually works. It's going to be outside take from Nordavind. 2 players looking for that early on. Blame F. Oy, ay, 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 ay. That truly is dirty dancing. How did those jumping shots, or did I see incorrectly? Either way, Poison replies. So we're back to a 4-on-4. Nordavind quick to react as they seem to have a bit of a play in mind towards B.
There's a very quick flank, though. Not that it makes too much of a difference. Config turning good for one, but it's down to a 3-on-2. The bomb is in the open, though, something they will have to deal with, and Config playing from this sort of angle. Reason to be any worried. Oh, the bomb has been collected. Surely Config knows that. Of course, he's not going to make any noise. Wants to be as sneaky as can be, but Tensky is holding the line. Will Config check the corner? That's the question. He has to at this point. As he rounds it, yes, he does. Takes out Tensky. Back to a 2-on-2. It is now doable, although HSC is trying for the flank himself, something that Config somewhat seem aware of, but not able to predict, of course. Blame F now isolated. Will be going for the save. 11-8. Nordavind, consecutive rounds, breaking the bank of complexity. Should be their way. But now, back into this game. 9, looking somewhat possible off the back of an eco, but good to see from Nordavind. A little bit expensive, but winning the gun rounds nevertheless.
Indeed. 11. Bill. Complexity. They have an op. An eco. Let's see what the bottle brings us. Perhaps Blame F can open and find a few devices inside. In any case, Blame F tagged only mildly, although poison already snuffed out. That's gonna leave a wide gap in the armor for complexity, and unfortunate enough that they are losing a side alongside it. And Blame F should be looking to save already this magnificent weapon. Is a little bit of a harsh start. They can't even get anything done. Blame F, he's just running across the map hoping for a frag. That ain't coming. 9-11. As Nordavind is still able to hunt. It is going to be 2 more rounds to be tying it back together.
Looks a lot more doable now. The fact that Nordavind do have key-side advantage that we speak of, especially when they start to gain consecutive rounds. This is where they can step up to the mark and start to shut down the CT side. First gun round will come. Blame F most likely going to be throwing out the AWP to poison. Rifle in return. But here we go. Nordavind, they are starting to build up decent economy now as well, stacking maximum 6.3k on NATO, but still plenty of cash along the rest of the side as well. That's where they'll have their security this game so far. Poison, though, he is going to go for more of an aggressive peek. Yes, not yet aware of it, of course, although as the timing might just be off as Poison takes the first. Through the smoke they go. A mistake, of course, as Config finds 2. Rush delivers as well. Yeah, it's just not the right thing to do there. Config does get tagged low, but it's not even a trade. Tensky isolated. Like to see back to winning ways, it seems.
It seems like it is time to draw back the curtain, yes, yet again. I don't know how easily how easily he can make that look, but he does, and well. 12-9. Rebuy for Nordavind. They're not exactly doing the best job for themselves, of course, going through smokes. We've seen this time and time again. But it seems to me that whatever they try so far, at least for the most part, it is complexity to get themselves still up the ladder. And it's gonna be a rebuy for Nordavind. Let's see if this works. AKs all around.
Taking a bit of a hefty tag there through the spammable wall. Nordavind, yeah, like you say, the majority of the executions that they've tried so far not particularly been as testing, and complexity again just healing the damage through these smokes. The nades were perfect. config. This time, not as successful. Rush does manage to return a kill. Poison the same. Rush delivers. There's just no challenge. They find the entry, but the rest just falls by the wayside. 13 for Complexity. The round over as quickly as it begins, and with an eco to come for this T side, this is Complexity now up to 14-9 most likely. And again, Nordavind just seeming to revert back to how they were on Mirage. It's Complexity that are reading into every scenario that comes their way at the moment.
Well, I mean, we kind of should have. They kind of should have expected that. Complexity chose Nuke, and they are no strangers to it. Of course, there's no doubt that it's amongst their stronger maps overall. Though, as you said, with an eco here for Nordavind, even if it weren't their strongest map, or even if it isn't, this is still a round that most likely Complexity will pick up, regardless of how big of a difference it might be. And Nordavind, troublesome waters ahead. Very, very rough waters. They'll have one buy round really to work with, to make a difference, to stave off the series point Complexity might be able to achieve. Let's see if this works. Well, the next, of course. Right now, might still work, I say, but sure, Poison, I think, lucks it out.
Eagle's always quite the annoying weapon to play against, although it does come down the right way this time. 14-9. Nordavind back onto the rebuy as they will get 5 AKs posted up. A little bit of hesitation from HS, perhaps a discussion about an AWP, but NATO and HS both happy to take the rifles in. More of a T-sided scenario is always a better angle to play with as well. We'll need that versatile setup, the quick rotates if necessary, but so far it is Complexity that will be leading the charge pretty much all the way. This gun round does not go in the favor of Nordavind. Essentially, we will see Complexity most likely securing a very quick 2-0 to start these final best of threes, and Nordavind would be wiped out almost instantly, but there is still time. Execution out towards outside. Poison gets himself into secret, as we saw. Pressure is on, though. There's the first from him. Second as well. Just singular peaks as they offer the frags, and well, there's not even a lot they can do. Poison gets out unscathed. This time, though, held greatly by Obo and Blame F. A crossfire established. Tensky isolated. 15 on the board for Complexity. No money for Nordavind, and I think we know where this one goes.
We indeed do. This replay signifies how important Poison is, and also how vital it is that you get rid of that position with a Molotov and make sure it can't punish you like such, and also signifies why Complexity should be able to rely on Poison at all times. Just as a very simple take. It's not even that complex, it's not even that out of order. You usually see players going secret, Blame F, close range. This time NATO replies, Harre! The second on Poison might actually be enough to draw the scales back in their favor, though. Config! That is crazy. Back to a 2-on-2.
Still alive, as Obo did trade off with Tensky. HS tagged incredibly as well, so difficult for him. Croman, thankfully, though, raiding the line. Obo back into a one-on-one, though. Croman has to try and retrieve the bomb. Thankfully, does get beyond main. Flash over the top will keep him blind for now. Obo does drop the smoke. Bomb secured. Down to secret he will go. Will be heard very, very quickly by Obo as well, though. Plant will be secured. Use kit onto Obo himself, so does have time to play with. Croman just trying to pick right angle this time, but if Obo walks the wrong way, he'll be dead for sure, but not this time. Obo gets the job done. We'll close out the series, a 2-0, 16-8, 16-9. They double the scoreline of what they got in the previous encounter, but again, just not enough this time.
It does pain me to